Good day, everyone. My name is Mr. Chisum. So today we'll be looking at the muscles of the anterior abdominal wall. We'll be looking at the muscles of the anterior abdominal wall. So this is the anterior abdomen, or the anterior abdominal wall rather. And we have about 5 muscles in the anterior abdominal wall. We have the external oblique muscle, the internal oblique muscle, we have the transversus abdominis muscle, we have the rectus abdominis muscle, and we have the paramedialis. Then the paramedialis as a small muscle is not found in about 20% of individuals. So that is to say that about 80% of individuals have 5 muscles in the anterior abdominal wall, while 20% have only 4 because of the absence of the paramedialis muscle. So I'll go forward to show us these muscles, their origin and the insertion, and also some of the things they do. But before going into that, let me state that the muscles of the anterior abdominal wall generally help in compressing the abdominal contents. So they help to compress the abdominal contents. So they kind of have a general function. So let's see these muscles one after the other. So we made a vertical incision from the xiphoid process down to the pubic symphysis, and we reflected the flap of the skin to expose these muscles. So the first muscle here is the external oblique muscle. External oblique. It is external. You can see it is the outermost muscle here. This muscle here, it is the outermost muscle, and you can see the orientation of the fibers. The muscle fiber move in a slant manner. So that is where the word oblique came from. So this muscle here is the external oblique muscle. And the external oblique muscle originates from the 5th to the 12th rib, and it moves downward and medially to come and insert at the EDI crest. It inserts at the EDI crest and also the pubic tubercle. It inserts at the EDI crest and also the pubic tubercle. Then another thing that is important here is that as this muscle moves downward, it kind of forms an aponeurosis, or it continues downward rather. This muscle continues downward as an aponeurosis. So you can see the external oblique aponeurosis, or the aponeurosis of the external oblique muscle. And this aponeurosis towards here end as the inguinal ligament. So you can see this is the inguinal ligament here. This is the inguinal ligament here. So this is the first muscle of the anterior abdominal wall. And also this muscle is innervated by the subcostal nerve and the thoracoabdominal nerve. So having said that, let's move to the next muscle. So the second muscle we have here is this muscle here. This muscle is known as the internal oblique muscle. As a matter of fact, this muscle moves in an opposite orientation when compared to the external oblique muscle. As the external oblique moves downward and medially, you can see that the muscle fiber move upward. You can see that the muscle fiber move upward. So this muscle originates from the EDI crest, the pubic crest. It originates from the EDI crest, the pubic crest, and it inserts at the 7th to the 12th rib. It inserts at the 7th to the 12th rib. So as the external oblique muscle originates from the 5th to 12th rib and move downward to insert, this one is in an opposite direction. It originates from the pubic crest and iliac crest and move upward to insert at the 7th to the 12th rib. So this muscle here, which is the internal oblique muscle, is innervated by the subcostal nerve and also the thoracoabdominal nerve. So that is it for the internal oblique muscle. Then having said that, let's move to the next muscle. So you can see this muscle here. Now, one unique thing about all these muscles is that their name came from their orientation or how the muscle fibers are oriented. You get? So you can see this orientation now. It moves in a kind of a transverse orientation. You can see that the muscle fibers of this move in a transverse orientation, and that is why it is called the transversus abdominis muscle. So this is the transversus abdominis muscle. So this muscle, you can see it originates from the 7th to the 12th costal cartilage, and it inserts, some part of it inserts at the linea alba, while some part insert at the iliac crest. So you can see it also gave a thin aponeurosis downward. So that is it for the transversus abdominis muscle. Then, having seen the transversus abdominis muscle, the next muscle we have here is the rectus abdominis muscle. So this rectus abdominis muscle, you can see here, you can see down here, it originates down here from the pubic symphysis, pubic crest, and the pubic tubercle. So you can see the origin: pubic symphysis, pubic tubercle, and the pubic crest. That is where it originates, and it runs in a vertical orientation. So you can see that the fibers of this muscle move vertically. So it runs in a vertical orientation to insert at the xiphoid process of the sternum. So it inserts at the xiphoid process of the sternum and also the 5th to 7th rib. That is where it inserts. Then this muscle is innervated by the thoracoabdominal nerve and also the subcostal nerve. Then let's see the final muscle here. You can see this small muscle here. This is the pyramidales muscle. It's a very small muscle, and I said that it is found in about 80% of individual. So 20% of individual does not have this muscle. So as you can see here, this muscle originates from the pubic symphysis. So it takes its origin from the pubic symphysis and it inserts at the linea alba of the rectus abdominis. So it inserts at the linea alba. So like I said initially, all these muscles help in compressing the abdominal content. Then we'll be looking at kind of specific or important fissures that are found around the rectus abdominis muscle. So we'll be looking at this sheet that covers the rectus abdominis muscle. So this is known as the rectus sheet. The rectus sheet covers the rectus abdominis muscle, and the rectus sheet is divided into two. You can see this one is the anterior rectus sheet. Then the one under is the posterior rectus sheet. So this is the posterior rectus sheet, while this is the anterior rectus sheet. So I want to say that the rectus abdominis muscle, at the middle there is a sheet of a fibrous sheet or a fibrous tissue that divides it into two halves, and this fibrous sheet is known as linear alba. So this fibrous sheet that divides it into two is known as the linear alba. Then another important feature that may not be so visible here is the tendinous intersections. Then, having said that, there is another important feature in the posterior rectus sheet that I didn't show us. If you notice, the posterior rectus sheet is very thick, but as it approaches the inferior aspect, it becomes very thin. So you notice the difference between this and this. So that is to say that the posterior rectus sheet terminates at this line here, which is known as the arcuate line. So it terminates at this line. This line here is known as the arcuate line. So this is not referred to as, this part downward is not referred to as the rectus sheet. Only this thick part that is superior is referred to as the rectus sheet. Only this part. So the rectus sheet ends as the arcuate line here. So that is it for the anterior abdominal muscles. Like I said, the anterior abdominal wall have 5 muscles, which are the external oblique muscle, the internal oblique muscle, the rectus abdominis muscle, the transversus abdominis, and the paramedialis. So we've come to the end of this teaching. I'll encourage us to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Learn with Chisom Great, like this video, share this video to your friends. Thank you very much.